everyone, Justine here, the Twilight Stamper, and today we're going to be doing another card tutorial featuring a variety of techniques using the Monster Party stamp set from Create a Smile Stamps. I'm starting off with my card base, which measures 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5.5 inches, to make a top folding card. I'm going to use my bone folder to get an extra nice crease on the card so that it stays flat. Using the Monster Party stamp set from Create a Smile Stamps, I'm going to lay out my stamps on my card the way I want them. I'm going to put them towards the left-hand side of the card, and I'm going to use 3 little monsters with two big ones and the one small one in the middle. Pick it up with my stamp press. I'm going to ink it up with TUXEDO black MEMENTO ink and stamp that on my card. The next thing I did was re-ink those stamps. You can use any ink color for this part, and I'm going to stamp them onto Inkadinkado masking paper and cut them all out. I also decided to take the balloon stamp from this stamp set and add it to my card. I'm going to make a birthday card here, so I wanted to add some little balloons. I didn't realize that there is a space in the string to put it through their hand, so as you can see I have a little bit of a space in the string in the card, but not a big deal. You can use a black pen if you end up doing the same mistake as I did to fix that. I stamped it actually twice onto the card, one for each large monster so that they're each holding a balloon. I also ended up stamping 2 of those balloons onto masking paper and making a mask out of those as well. Next, I'm taking the masking paper and laying it over my stamps. This is going to help me protect my monsters so I can put a background on the card and then go back in and color the monsters with no issues. Now I want to cover up each of my images, so all 3 monsters and both balloons. I'm not going to worry too much about the string on the balloons because it's black. It doesn't matter if I put a blue background, it won't make a difference with the black ink anyway. I'm going to take 2 long strips of this masking paper and mask off an area of my card. Lately I've been doing this technique a lot, and I really like the way that it looks, having sort of just a portion of the card really stand out and the rest being all white. And I like the one layer card look myself. So now that I have that all masked off, I've zoomed in here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to take my blending tool and I'm going to go in with some broken china ink. It's important to start off the paper and work your way in. So now that I'm all finished that, I'm taking a stencil from Simon Says Stamp here with these really tiny hearts, and I'm using some washi tape to set it down. It's really important that your stencil stays in place during this process. I'm using some embossing paste white glossy from Dreamweaver. I'm taking my palette knife and I'm going to go through with my stencil and I'm going to put down some of this texture paste. You really don't need a lot of paste to do this, and using a palette knife I found a lot helpful. I used to use a butter knife before, and I find having this, because it's really flexible, makes things a lot easier. So I'm going to go over that area where my monsters are. My monsters, again, are protected by that masking paper, and then I'm just going to go in and remove the stencil. This is one of my favorite things to do, is remove all the masking and the stenciling that we've been doing, because it just makes for such a fun surprise. So you want to remove everything here, including everything from the monsters. I'm using my palette knife to help me get everything off, and you want to wait until the embossing paste maybe is dry, because we put such a thin layer on this, it didn't take very long. I decided to use some INKTENSE watercolor pencils. I actually don't have a set of good pencil crayons except for these ones that aren't watercolor, so I decided to just go in with these. And the plan originally was to go in and use them as regular pencil crayons, but that didn't end up happening. So I put the lightest layer on the whole monster, went in with the darkest color and did a shadow here, as you can see I'm doing now. I took my medium color and extended that shadow, and then I went back in with the regular color that I originally used to color the whole monster. Now I find I'm not a very good colorer, and so I decided to add with my water brush some water so that it blended really nicely. And I have to say the water, it held up really well, the paper, because I'm not using watercolor paper here. And it was no problem to put kind of one layer of water on the card. On the monster at the top, I had to go in and do a little bit more of the layering effect, and that didn't work out super well for me. Because I had to put more than one water layer. It ended up kind of making the paper, like little bits of the paper come up a little bit, but overall at a distance you don't see that, and even up close you probably wouldn't notice. So I just did the same technique, 3 different colors and shades of purple, but because I found it too light, I went back in while my image was still wet, and that was where I started having problems when I tried to go in and blend it. But overall, I made it look okay, and it was really no problem when I was finished. The last step to do this, I just went in and colored the balloons. I colored them in with a yellow, and then I wanted to go in with a purple. And as you can see with my water brush, I ended up mixing some of the yellow in there, but I thought it turned out fine becoming an orange color, and I wasn't going to go back in and fix it. Just some things that you can learn from my mistakes as I do this, which is what I try to do with all my cards, is have you learn from my mistakes so you don't make them. I'm going to take the Let's Party stamps from this stamp set, and I just picked them up and measured them and made sure that they were straight onto my stamp press. I used MEMENTO Tuxedo Black ink, the same ink that I used to stamp the monsters, and I like this because it's really crisp and it's a good ink to use for sentiments as well as Copic coloring and watercoloring and things like that because it's water resistant. I stamped that down, and then I cleaned off my stamp, and that was essentially the end of my card. So this is the card that I made. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, everyone. I decided that it's been way too long since I've done a giveaway on here, so I decided to do a giveaway for this owl stamp set from Close to My Heart. All you have to do is visit my blog. The link is in the description below, and there are several ways to enter. Good luck, everyone. I will draw a winner in exactly 1 week, February 22nd. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. Here you're welcome to subscribe to my channel. I also have a link to 2 cards using Create a Smile stamps and 1 using this Monster Party stamp set. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy your weekend.